Your GM does a lot to make your sessions fun. But TTRPGs are meant to be a collaborative game where you all chip in to make the game fun. So, here are 3 ways that you, as a player, can improve your TTRPGs. Hello everyone, and welcome to Dungeon Bits. And these tips that we're going to be talking about today aren't the usual bring a notepad and know the rules. These are tips that you may not have considered, but will surely make your group more cohesive and your games more fun. So make sure that you watch till the end and leave your ideas to expand this topic in the comments below. So, the first tip is play along. Well, to clarify, if you're a player, you're already playing, but actually, this will be a lot easier to explain with a scenario. The GM says, as you walk deeper into Redbark Forest, you see how it got its name. The corrupted water that runs through this valley from the tragic war that happened decades ago has soaked into the trunks. The bark has peeled off most of these oak trees like paper birch, like flayed flesh, leaving reddened oak showing, bleeding with sanguis sap. And Ragnar? You see something in the middle distance. A rotten oak? Well, if it was fast, as it darts with a terrifying speed into the gloom beyond your vision. What do you do? Indeed, what do you do? Because if you then say, my character doesn't care, and moves towards the shape, then it completely robs the scenario of tension. If you can see that your GM is describing a scene with a certain tone, play into that tone. And listen, I get it. You want to play your badass character. Well, for a start, you may enjoy playing the badass character, but I've witnessed many times how that character makes the rest of the group feel either a bit uncomfortable or just annoyed. Too much ego. Well, fun fact, did you know that you can play your badass character and feel emotion? Like, let's say that you're the party's badass paladin. You could say, my character grips his sword tight till his knuckles are paper white, and he moves forward slowly, trying as always to protect the party, but in the bulk of his unmoving armor, his heart is pounding, fear that he doesn't show to not panic the others. See what I mean? You can play any kind of character and lean into the tone of the scene. But why do this, right? Why is this a good thing? Well, your GM can only do so much. They can describe a terrifying scene, but if you start cracking jokes and saying how much your character isn't affected, then immersion breaks and no one is even slightly concerned. But if you react scared, in a scary scene, then the tension grows and the whole scene is elevated. And this works in all tones, not just scary ones. If there's an emotional moment happening, as soon as you start cracking jokes about the deceased, the emotional rug is pulled out from the rest of the party. I don't know what an emotional rug is, but I can't see it being a shag carpet. Actually role-playing a person reacting to situations like a person makes every scene more real and more engaging and immersive. But that's just one tip. If you want to ensure that even the downtime, more relaxed roleplay moments are more fun for all, then make sure that you interact with your fellow PCs. This may only apply to certain groups, but while you have spent your time to make your character and you want to feel cool, remember your friends at the table want the same thing. If your GM wants there to be role-playing in your role-playing game, then in any situation, ask your GM if you can just talk to your neighbour, spontaneously share a thought on something that your character sees, and ask the PCs for their opinion. Ask the other player characters, as your character, all the questions that you would want to be asked, and these questions can be major or minute. What made you want to start adventuring? Why did you take an oath? Where did you learn to be so talented in magic? Why don't you drink ale? Do you actually like the smell of flowers, or do you think they smell like sour celery? What desserts do you like best? It's amazing how many times I've seen players come to the table to play together, but their characters never just talk. Apparently these guys have been travelling together for months, but are in complete silence until it's time to make a plan. So, we've covered actually allowing the GM to set the stage and asking your fellow PCs questions so that they can take the stage. And that is why the final tip encapsulates nearly everything. To help nervous players take their first stride, and to be a team player as a player rather than just a player character, if that makes sense, then simply step out of the spotlight. Despite your cool character, if you're constantly taking every opportunity to show off and do everything, then you rob everyone else the chance of doing the same thing. If someone is playing a bard or an envoy flowing with debonair, then ask them if they could help you haggle better, or perhaps, more cute than that, ask them for dating advice or how to make friends. If one character is a master of the arcane or a scholar of history, defer to them and their superior knowledge, rather than trying to see if the dice give you a natural 20 to see if you know about this obscure piece of lore for some reason, even as a dumb barbarian. Your character, hopefully, isn't a perfect being, so admitting that another character would be better makes that player and their character feel valued. Have the humility to let other players help you, and admit when your character lacks. If you're strong but not strong enough, ask the bigger guy for help. Even if your character doesn't lack in any skill because they're some kind of god due to some obscure build, thanks Reddit, then still, let the other players actually have a go. Because if they succeed, then your characters can bond over how cool they both are. Wow, I never realised you were good at this sort of thing. You'll have to let me know what you know. We'll see if I have any gaps in my knowledge.
Did we just become best friends? Yup!
So yeah, short and sweet. 3 tips, but 1 message. Be supportive, don't be selfish, and consider the player experience instead of just your coolness and fun. And if you already do this, that's great, but if you don't, I hope that by watching this, you'll give it a try, so that everyone sits down to have fun and can be there for each other to make the game fun for everyone. Thank you for watching. I'm Ellis, and if you like these tips, click the video on screen to see how I make traps fun for my fun players in my tabletop games. I love you all, and I'll see you next Saturday.